While taking care of your physical health is absolutely a huge priority, equally as important is taking care of your mental health. Having your mental health in check is extremely important, especially with these polarizing times in our world. We especially need to normalize taking care of mental health in the world of music. For many years, we've heard the tragic stories of musicians and others in that space who have succumbed to mental health challenges when they otherwise felt there was nowhere else to turn. For more information and how to support this cause, visit Live Beyond on Instagram at live.beyond27 or on Facebook at Beyond27. Thank you for your support.
The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too evil and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly Podcast, recording this Tuesday night, January 6, 2026. It is, of course, the Student Report this week with the man, Kyle effing Nash. Hey, Kyle, happy Insurrection Day.
Nice drop. I see what you're doing there, you goofball. It would figure from the best Trump impression here in sports pod media here, you know.
Insurrection Day, greatest day ever.
Now that you got a new, or I don't know if it's a new mic, but a better mic set up there, like it rings even clearer. It's very insane.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So anyway.
Listen, I'm glad you can laugh through all the sadness. I mean, so many of your teams are eliminated at this point. You have more teams out of the playoffs than in.
It's amazing how my strategy doesn't work for 1 year. Chiefs gone, Giants gone, Cowboys gone. They got the Pats still. So the Pats.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's interesting that a team called the Patriots never make King George look smarter because everybody seems to want and demand a king, and they keep trying to feed us the Patriots. It's absolutely insane.
Well, Kyle,
it's a Hamilton reference, damn it.
Oh, I love Hamilton.
Shot. Anyways.
Wow, I love that. Love Hamilton for the record. My wife and I are obsessed. So you are aware of that.
Cats.
Yeah. Huh? Say again?
I said it's way better than Cats.
Well, Cats can go away. I love Cats though, but Cats to play can go away.
Cats to play, yeah, correct.
Yes. Now you understand this is the 15th year of the podcast, right?
I didn't, but damn, why you gotta age me like that?
Yeah, 15-year anniversary. You are now the second show of the year. So the degenerate, by the way, the degenerate himself, Zach, once again, does seek your presence very soon.
Cool.
He's asked to do something with you very, very soon. He wants to Jaguar. He wants to Jaguar. Dude, I will say, he called the shot before the year started on the Jaguars. He nailed it. He said the Jags will win the division before the year started.
You know, it's funny. In August on the Duval Dive, there was a segment where we did a grab bag and we were asked to give our crackheadiest take, and I said the Jags would win the division and make the playoffs. Apparently, I'm getting calls now to be drug tested. Anyways.
Oh my Lord! And not only that, they did it in a very competitive division. Not even Tennessee, of course.
Well, it's Indianapolis division. Can we be honest? Granted, the Colts are better than I thought they'd be, but damn,
exactly.
Like they got Uncle Phil at quarterback the last couple weeks here. What are we talking about?
Yeah, they fell apart because they fell apart because of injuries, not because of they weren't good.
They fell apart because it was Indiana Jones and Anthony Richardson. Like, what are we doing? You know.
Well, hopefully we can do this every week for the next 3-4 weeks, because we do every year. Obviously, this year's been one of the seasons we haven't really been able to do this every week. But end of the year, we do like a final letter grade to all the teams, and we'll obviously going to do that right now with all the non-playoff teams. And then every week preceding that, we'll do the teams that get eliminated this weekend, Super Wildcard Weekend, and Divisional Weekend, and Conference Championship, and all that. So let's get started. We have 18 teams to touch on here. that are no longer in the not in the playoffs. So alphabetical order. Let's go first. The Arizona Cardinals, who went 3-14. What letter did we get them this year?
And it's hard because when you're in a division that's that good, and you're that guy, like you're not Cleveland Browns bad, and maybe you're not Las Vegas Raiders bad, but you're pretty bad. And yet somehow I still feel like the Cardinals could compete in the NFC South. It's so very strange. So very strange. So I stall all that to say I'm gonna go C-. Sure, they could have been better. I mean, and let's be honest, they took the Jags to the wire. We'll see what they have when they get the new coaching staff in. But yeah, that there you go. I said C-.
I get it. I'm on D. I almost want to go F, but then like, well, you lose Kyler. You're playing in NFC West, the best division of football by far, for the record. So
the Cardinals are that student that the parents insisted they be allowed to skip a grade, and then the work absolutely kicked their ass.
You're right, exactly. Jacob Brissett did play decent in stretches for the most part.
Correct.
Hey, they did fire a coach yesterday. They fired Tomlin again. By the way, I didn't saw that. Any thoughts on that?
Sure.
Not surprised.
I mean, to be honest, it's what you do when you're that far behind, even though you're kind of good. Yeah, when you're good and everybody else is better, you need some sort of a shot in the arm and a jump. And firing a coach is one way to do it. You know,
doesn't it feel like they're firing a coach once every 2 years?
Well, sure. Bad franchises do that.
No stability whatsoever.
I mean, Las Vegas Raiders, Pete Carroll.
We'll get there. We will get there.
On that later.
Yes. All right. Atlanta Falcons 8-9. What'd you give them? The fraud cons, should we say?
Yeah, the fraud cons are going to get a C- from me as well. I expected more from them this year. Michael Penix was my Heisman Trophy winner over the quarterback that's doing really good up there in Chicago now, who is on track, if he can keep it up, to be the best quarterback in Bears history. Hell, maybe he's
low bar.
Maybe, yeah, correct. Sid Luckman, your actual choice, or you could go Jay Cutler. Shouts to G. Stelio, the guy who sings the theme to the show,
or Jim Harbaugh.
Ironically, no, the guy who's the active head coach that has more rushing yards than Bo Jackson. It's very interesting.
By the way, I nailed that trivia question last week.
I'm glad you did. I think it's funnier that John Harbaugh didn't get it right, but let's move on. We'll talk about it.
Was it terrible? He felt like shit too for that. He should have got fired alone for that. Oh, wait, he did.
Holy bleep! Yeah, he said that's a fireable offense. More on that later.
Not much later.
Yeah, right. I'm at C- though for the Falcons.
I am too, actually.
Yeah.
So 8-9 last year, 8-9 this year. Lose Penix. Kirk Cousins, didn't get traded because that fucking terrible contract, of course.
Yeah.
They played better at the end of the year. Raheem Morris still gets fired. But to me, it wasn't just Raheem Morris. I mean, obviously, this wasn't a targeted firing. They cleaned up the entire front office.
Yeah, I agree. So, blowing that situation with Cousins and Penix obviously is what did it, right?
Right. And look, I'm not going to sit there. Look, would I like to see Raheem get one more shot? Yeah. But they're doing the entire. They're gutting the entire front office. That's not just one guy. So maybe they're doing him a favor, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. All right, here we go, Mr. Kyle. The Baltimore. Who would be saying this? We saying this right now in early January. The Baltimore Ravens, 8-9, misses the playoffs.
Yeah, easily the biggest disappointment of the year, I would
Not
say.
even close. Yep.
Yes, even more than the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick LaVon Mahomes II.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on there. I hate to sound like a broken record here, but C- is the answer. They did deal with a lot of adversity. Lamar Demetrius Jackson getting hurt, the defense underperforming, just a lot of craziness going on. John Harbaugh getting fired doesn't make sense. And here's, okay. It doesn't make sense unless there's a rift between him and your franchise quarterback, which there was. And that's the only scenario that it does make sense.
Sounds like it was.
Find me another profession, EJ Christian, other than, your side hustle with your OnlyFans, where experience works against you. Okay? I've never seen a pair of coaches be criticized, except for maybe Marvin Lewis, as harshly as John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. Oh, well, sometimes you just need a different voice. Oh, gosh, I'm tired of making the playoffs. Oh, one and done. Oh, no. You know how many poverty franchises there are out there? Like, people think they're smart saying it, but it's just as obvious as oxygen being necessary. Yes, it's the best position for coaching in the NFL available right now. Period. Point blank, end of story. Yeah. People will come out of the woodwork. And you know who else? The other certainty is John Harbaugh with a coaching job by next year. I won't rule out him going into the college ranks. Oh, wait, NIL's a thing. Never mind, right? An 18-year NFL coach isn't going to want to deal with that hubbub unless they are going to put further guardrails and essentially make it another professional league. But that's a different podcast, EJ. The punchline's this. I think both sides of this divorce can still be fruitful. The Ravens have proven time and again they're a stable organization. Like a down year is 8-9 for you. Figure that out, right? Yeah, I cover an organization in the form of the Jacksonville Jaguars who's bad enough to experience a turnaround the way they did, because you have to be that bad in order to need a turnaround. I'm just throwing it out there. I'll say this. That game that we just saw this past, what was it, Monday night? Whatever. Yeah, Sunday night. Thank you. For Steelers Ravens to decide the fate of the North, right? Whoever lost that game was probably going to get fired, and Tom getting fired would be even more stupid. I just, oh my God, you need to fire Tom. It's ridiculous to me.
It's two sides of the same coin between Tom and Harbaugh. I remember saying to myself too, also going into that game on Sunday, that the loser of this game might get fired within the next two days, and I was right. It was just John Harbaugh rather. Here's the thing though. Like when I say I thought John Harbaugh was time to go, it's not about him not being a good coach. I think he's a great coach. I think it's still a top coach. But sometimes things get stale. And I felt like unlike the stuff with the Steelers that had personnel issues, I felt that with the Ravens, things felt a little stale there in comparison to that. Now, would I have been mad if he came back another year? No. Of course not. He's a great coach. In fact, he is right now, as we sit here recording this podcast, the hottest name right now.
Yeah.
Right now. He will, if he wanted to have a job with the New York Giants right now, which I will take in a heartbeat, okay, or any team right now, that Falcons, you name it.
Imagine if you were a Giants fan. That'd be insane.
Right? Exactly. So imagine, so he will get a job if he chooses to. This reminds me a lot of Andy Reid when the Eagles fired him and he immediately got a job with Kansas City.
That does feel like
same thing. Okay.
And who knows, maybe he goes to the AFC West and replaces one Pete Carroll. More on that later.
So this is less about John Harbaugh not being good and more about the fact that both parties, and obviously what we're hearing now from some of the tea leaves coming out now since the firing, that there was some friction between him and Lamar and other parties in there. So obviously it wasn't just the fact he wasn't good enough. It's the friction. And who are you choosing, Lamar or the coach? Choosing the quarterback, is what it is. I gave it a D, though. Here's why I gave him a D. I acknowledge, yes, the injuries were a thing. Absolutely. But
you still get a D, motherfuckers. No.
Yes, because you had the opportunity still to close the deal. You had multiple opportunities. The division was bad this year. Even with all the injuries, you were still within reach of the division. You win any one of those games that Lamar came back from, they win the division.
You don't see that as overcoming adversity. You see that doesn't make any sense, EJ.
Because
you've had like one game deciding the fate of whether they get a D or a passing grade. That doesn't make sense.
They've done some of the whole. There are a couple of games that Lamar did play this year that they lost. They should have lost. The Detroit game in like week 3, I think it was. There's the game against the Steelers, the first one. Okay.
In fairness,
so the Bengals game too also.
But don't pick divisional games. Like, divisional games are wacky, right? There's non-divisional games too where they looked less than stellar. Can we go that way? I think that's a much
fine.
You mentioned division games as the indictment. That's a bad argument. I'm not going
there.
True,
but it's also again, it wasn't like the Steelers ran away division or the Bengals. The opportunity was still there because the Bengals had the same issues as the Ravens with injuries. Joe Burrow missing time as well. Okay. But yet you're still within reach to win the division, and he couldn't close a deal.
That's
why I penalize him.
I don't see a bad team that they've lost to, but I think it's the way they lose games, right? Getting rolled by the Texans 44-10 is bad. You know, the
Lamar
Bengals,
didn't play the game though. Lamar's not in the game.
okay. Oh, that's right. So yeah. So then no, what are we doing?
Rams
here?
too.
Yeah,
The Bears win was the game that Lamar didn't play either, but he still won the game. But Lamar came back the week after that against Miami.
So a team that was competing for the number 1 seed in the Superior Conference, they won without their starting quarterback, but you give them a D. Sure.
Yeah. Because they're good enough. They should have beaten either the Bengals or Steelers the first time. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Look at you being all excited for the D again. It makes sense.
Yeah, you know me. You on the ODD? No, you know me. Yeah. All right. All right. The Bengals 6-11. What you giving them?
F. Next. I mean, what a collapse. Goodness God. Get some goddamn protection, please. And the only reason why you even beat Jacksonville in week 2 was some garbage ass call that where Travis Hunter actually made the game-winning pass defended and they called pass interference. Absolutely asinine stuff. Just no, stop it. Get the bleep out my face with that. By the way, the only loss on the season to a non-playoff competitive team. Not sure if you knew that, EJ Christian.
Mm-hmm. You just told me.
No.
I went D. However,
of course you did.
However,
of course you did.
However, I'm feeling you on the F. Let me tell you why I'm feeling the F. And I actually might want to change my pick, change my grade to a D- close to an F. Let me tell you why.
Because you copied my notes?
Even before Joe Burrow got hurt in week 2,
yes,
they didn't look good.
Correct.
They should have been 2-0. They were lucky to be Cleveland week 1. The Jags game, Jags were robbed in that game. So they should have been 0-2 right before Burrow got hurt anyway. Okay. So they get back, Burrow balls out. But to be honest with you, the Bengals was never really good, even with Burrow.
It's because of the lack of defense. Like
our few games
isn't Joey Burr. It's the lack of protection.
But isn't the same problem with the team every fucking year now?
It's
okay. Fix it.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Zach Taylor's back next year. Guess what, buddy? He is now the hottest seat in the league right now next year.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
Why is that?
Here's my retort. It
should
be the GM that's the hottest seat, and by extension, then the GM of the Bengals.
Oh.
Clear out the whole bleeping office, Chief. Zach Taylor would obviously go in part of that. I don't know that Zach Taylor's the biggest problem because he's not handling the defense, is he? I don't know how involved he is in personnel decisions. But how do you get involved in personnel decisions when you have an ownership group like you do? It's a whole other question, dude.
Well, what may save them is that the fact that they're a very cheap team anyway, and they want to pay for another coach. So probably that's why they'll save his job. But in any case, he should be in a hot seat the next year, though. Because it's getting a little old now. You can't keep going back to the whole Joe Burrow gets hurt again. At some point, there's gonna be some accountability here as well too.
Protect him, absolutely. I agree.
So, and again, I'm not the dumb fuck that signed T. Higgins to a $3 million contract along with Jamar Chase.
Great point.
And if that's the case, why do you have Joe Burrow in the first place then? Isn't the whole point having the league quarterback to not have to pay receivers like that? The same.
That's an interesting point. I mean, your Chiefs certainly subscribe to that.
Yeah, but I'm saying elite quarterbacks elevate guys. Just saying. If Joe Burrow's elite, then he doesn't need to elite receivers like that and pay that kind of money. Just saying. All right. Cleveland Browns, 5-12. What you got?
It's just an F by extension. Like, I don't care if you won 5 games. First of all, hope you enjoy that defensive tackle. Does anybody even remember Mason Graham's name? No, you don't. Because that's the guy they got after they gave the butt ton of picks, which now apparently officially today is number 28. It might be a little bit better depending on how the Jacksonville Jaguars do in the playoffs, but that ain't looking so hot. Could have had Travis Hunter. Not that it would have mattered all much because you didn't want to play his teammate Shedeur Sanders, apparently, that much. You went with Sockhawker Dylan Gabriel first. What are we doing? Yeah. No, straight up F. And what's odd enough, I don't know that firing Stefanski was even the correct answer at this point.
It wasn't the answer. It wasn't the answer. Well, in fact, I have like theories about Stefanski. For example, my theory is that I think he tanked the fucking job so he can lose his job so he can get another job elsewhere.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know I don't know. I don't think that's how that works. But the fact that you can say it and it sounds, I'm not going to say credible, but plausible, makes the point of why the Browns are at an F.
Kyle, it's the Browns. That's why. It's the Browns. It's the fucking goddamn Browns, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I gave him D+ for only one reason. Myles Garrett and that fucking defense kept them in games. Otherwise, it'd been a complete failure.
No, I think retaining Myles Garrett and doing so that desperately when you need a lot more than him and
of course, right,
stuff for him is the mistake. But I digress.
Right, Myles Garrett was, in a nutshell, I mean, still even with that team getting the sack record. But for the record, I'm very happy he got the sack record.
Sure,
but yeah,
I mean,
D+
Giants fans should be angry, but you are obviously happy with it.
Yes, calm down. All right. Next one. Dallas Cowboys 7-9-1.
C+.
Wow, interesting.
C+. Because for all the trash and hard time that they got, and rightly so, from what we could tell, they didn't really seem to get the Micah Parsons trade wrong per se, or at least it didn't hurt them as bad as we thought.
Right.
They made that trade and ended up being way more competitive for playoffs than anybody thought. Even Cowboy fans like yourself were amazed that they were actually in the hunt for the playoffs. Now, we know at days in it was short-lived, and they were involved enough during the year to have a tie with the Packers to keep them out of the, well, not out of the playoffs, but, you know, in that 7th seed, right? It's the Cowboys were relevant a lot more than I thought they would be, and I can't penalize improvement superior to my expectation. Now, are they a great team? No. This is why it's a C+ and nothing more than that. Okay? But the fact that they exceeded my expectation matters. I didn't think this team would be in a position to have the record that you listed there. I thought they were going to win 6 or 7 games, like 5 to 7, from 5 to 7, like that range. I didn't think they were going to be Doug Peterson Jaguars bad, but bad. And they weren't. They weren't good.
Well, you clearly have.
Yeah.
Our Cowboys expectations were different coming into the year, obviously. So mine's lower. Mine's a D.
Well, I mean, again, you being a homer, you had higher expectations for it.
Yeah, I thought they'd be a much better team. And they showed spots this year where, figuring things out. And then after that Chiefs win, they go to Detroit, lose that game, and they'll fall off again. Lose to Minnesota. The game that really fucked them, to me, honestly, was Arizona. The Arizona loss.
Correct.
Week
I think that's a great point. Yeah,
that's the game that really.
JJ McCarthy shouldn't be exciting to anybody, unless you're a Michigan fan. Shouts to Jim Neese, but
yeah.
No, they did better than I thought they would. I have them at C+. If you thought they were gonna, if you thought they were going to win 7 games, then you will grade them lower. I get that.
Yeah, so I gave them a D. Although the Micah trade doesn't look that bad right now. I'll tell you that now. Even without the injury, I'm saying, it doesn't look that bad. We'll see in the coming years, though. We'll see.
Indeed.
All right, next one: Detroit Lions, 9-8.
I can make the argument this is the most disappointing team in the NFC.
Absolutely.
I could make that argument. And the reason why I'm not making it for the Washington Commanders is because they were playing with house money last year. We all knew they didn't belong. We knew the window was closing for Man Campbell and the Lions.
Yep.
And I'm saddened to report that his seat is hot.
What's hot?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think.
So my opinion of this is that what I did say is that the honeymoon's over. Now, I didn't say it was hot seat yet, though, but definitely more skepticism now going forward.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine John Harbaugh in Detroit?
Oh, no. Yeah, I can imagine that.
Holy shit, dude. Not that that's going to happen, but
I got to get my own guy, Chris Chrismanic, regular on this podcast. He called this over a year ago. 2 years ago, in fact, he called this. He said, the year last year when they went 15-2, then 1 seed. He said, "This is it. This is the window here. It closes after this year." He was fucking right, dude. He was fucking right 2 years.
I don't know that I'm ready to say that the window is slammed shut, right? It depends on what they can do. Here's where Man Campbell's going to get really tested. If that culture is what it is and guys want to stay there and do what they're doing and they can keep that nucleus together, there's a fighting chance. This damn defense got to stay healthy some friggin' how.
Yeah.
Because it's killed them the past few years, I feel like. So, yeah.
We'll break him.
Yeah, I'm stalling my ass off because it hurts me to say C-.
I went lower. I went D-.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I knew there'd be aggression. I said there'd be aggression to me a little bit this year. Because when you lose both the coordinators, is going to cost you something, right?
Exactly. I felt like they were going to step back, but I didn't expect this.
Not this bad.
Yeah.
This is a 6-game, in the NFL, 6 games a lot. 6-game tilt. So not good, Detroit. And Dan Campbell.
Not great, Bob.
Right. I won't go as far as say Dan Campbell is on the hot seat, but he's definitely, the honeymoon's over.
And I think, and I say hot seat, meaning if he doesn't show significant improvement next year, the talk will start.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally with you on that one. All right. The Indianapolis Colts, 8-9.
For all the trash I talked on these cats in August, I cornered myself into having to give these humpy bumpies a good grade. Like it's a B.
Same here. Same here.
This roster is amazing. You were missing the quarterback, and you found a way to make Indiana Jones productive until he got hurt. And then Riley Leonard looked kind of dangerous for a moment there. It's crazy. And then you brought Uncle Phil in, and he's playing credible football against the Seattle effing Seahawks. I don't know if that's more about Sam Darnold and the Colts roster than it is Uncle Phil or not, but I digress. That defense is legit. So, yeah, B.
Yeah, same here. B. If Daniel Jones is healthy, they probably at least get those as a wild card. It's very possible they get as a wild card because they had the schedule in their favor. They had a lot of things going in their favor, and then the injuries just piled up left and right. Yeah. And even with that, they were still competitive. They should be in Seattle. They had Seattle the rights. Seattle went down the field like in 2 plays like in the game. They won that game. That's 9 wins. The San Francisco game was a little different, a little weird game. That was competitive. Really, the score was not indicative of how the game was.
It was not.
But the Colts they showed a lot this year. And in a year that Daniel Jones, okay, wouldn't throw him in there because AR-15 is not. We don't know if he's any good anymore. Can't stay healthy either. And they had no quarterbacks, and they were still competitive. I'm impressed. I think this is a team to watch next year. Honestly, the question is going to be who's the quarterback because Dan Jones' injury. I don't know what he'll be back in time in camp, and not only that, he's a free agent too. On top of that,
no quarterbacks and still productive. Sounds like another team I know, but I don't.
Well, they maybe get a good number on him too because he's come off an injury. He's a free agent, so they probably get him for cheap one year. So B. I said for the Colts. Okay, Kyle, here we go. My other team, the Kansas City Chiefs, 6-11.
This is easily the single hardest thing to grade.
Is it?
Because people are going to try to give him credit because of Patrick Mahomes II's injury.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of it is the Kansas City Chiefs just stopped getting lucky. I think they were either 12-1 or 12-0, something stupid like that in single point games last year. That did not happen this year, obviously.
Nope, not at all.
I'm going to say D+ because this general manager group has asked Patrick Mahomes II finally to do too much. And apparently Chris Jones stopped being the MVP of the team some time ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's where I'll go.
I'm harsher than you.
Harsher than a D+, okay.
Because you go from a Super Bowl team. The team was in the Super Bowl literally a year ago. Okay. And yeah, well, they're going to regress this year? Yeah, we kind of called that. I said they regressed a little bit. A wild card team, though. Not but I said it was a wild card.
We knew they weren't going back to the Super Bowl, but damn.
Correct. But still in the conversation. But to go 6-11, and you can't use the Mahomes injury excuse because they already out of it by the time he got hurt. So that didn't matter. It's an F for me. It's a failure. It's a fucking failure. Without question. across the board. Luck or not, you weren't even in the conversation, and that's the sad part of all that.
Well, no, they were still in the conversation, but only because of Patrick LaVon Mahomes II. But them not being in the conversation in the month of January, is significant.
Yeah, so it's a failure across the board. So, and I'm really curious how they attack the season because, as you know, Mahomes got hurt, torn ACL at the very end of the year. Those are typically 1-year injuries, which, if we do the math, his return will be in October. Now, there's reports that the tear wasn't as significant as others, and that possibility they're targeting training camp again. But I think the problem with that injury now, and in terms of how they attack the offseason, that had he not gotten hurt, for example, and they missed the playoffs still, okay, they're probably retooling the team.
Yes.
Now, with this injury being a possible 1-year injury, you don't have the excuse to rebuild altogether. Take a 1-year reprieve, which means
so you're giving me the Tyrese Halliburton / Jason Tatum.
Absolutely. That is exactly the comp for that.
So this is why I'm a better NBA analyst than you now.
I fucking hate you. that was good though. Good timing though. No, but they can do well from a rebuild, except I don't know if Andy Reid has the gumption to go through that at his age. That's the question.
No. Okay.
If he does,
great.
If he doesn't,
great. Out of your head, okay? As somebody who's watched this guy address retirement questions even 3 fucking years ago, that's not a thing. It's not going to be about gumption or can he do it. One day he'll be like, fuck it, and retire. That's the he's
so
there
you're saying he's not there
until
yet.
He's done. And I've even heard him say, at Patrick's age, he calls him Patrick, at Patrick's age, he didn't see himself retiring anytime soon. And what? Is LaVon 30 yet? I don't think so.
He's
I'd have to look
now. I think he's 30 now. That's still young for quarterback though in today's NFL.
Well, let's be careful with that. It's young if you don't move around a lot.
Mahomes right now is age 30. He'll be 31 in September.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But to your point, I think the required rebuild around him is absolutely essential. I think Travis Michael Kelce needs to retire to help the team out,
which is weird because even with him having a down year, he was still top 5 tight end in the league this year.
Of course,
his numbers are still great. So technically, he can still play. I'll say it again.
There's nobody else there. The fact that I mean, with star power, with that has the chemistry with Patrick LaVon Mahomes II. And he's clear, in my opinion, he's the most talented guy on the offense, not at quarterback, right?
Yeah.
But that defense needs to be rethought too. That O-line needs to be rethought too. Not the interior necessarily, but.
All I know is that Chris Jones goes bye-bye.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. The contract, the money, the money. Yeah. So Kansas City be interesting to see how they attack this offseason. Do they retool or rebuild? Because the two different things. You know what I'm saying? I think the rebuild will be better for them for the long term. And
I'll put it this way. If the Jags use one of their earlier picks, which they don't have, to acquire Chris Jones at defensive tackle and allow Eric Armstead to retire, I'm just throwing it out there. Anyways.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Next one here, the Las Vegas Raiders, who went 3-14.
Like F?
This is easy. F. They are... You talk about Baltimore being the biggest disappointment, and maybe that's true. To me, probably my biggest disappointment this year is the Vegas Raiders.
You're
not because
idiot. No. When the bar is that low, nobody had. Stop it! Nobody had the fucking Raiders going to the Super Bowl. People picked the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl.
True.
Doing this shit.
But they have excuses though. But but Kyle, calm down. Shh. The Ravens though have excuses though. to say, oh, because X, Y, and Z. The Raiders, to me, I had them winning 7 to 8 games this year. Okay,
It's because
you got Geno, you got Max Crosby, you got fucking.
It's not a plug. Stop it.
They went 3, bro. They went 3-14, and in those 3 wins, they barely played well in those games. Okay,
I mean,
they were that bad this year.
They played the Jags up to the last snap, which is probably more embarrassing than losing to the Bengals. But
probably, but the Raiders were bad. Like, they were bad. Watching them, they were bad. Like, I thought they'd be a frisky, they're not going to win the division, but they're gonna be a hard out against the top teams in the AFC West.
You problem.
Obviously, so it hurts me to my core to say this. Pete Carroll fired also too by the team.
Should have never been hired by the team.
Right, I know you're not a Pete Carroll guy. Now look.
No, he wasn't the answer there anyway.
So I'm not surprised he's gone. Okay, let me say this real quick. I'm not surprised he's gone, Cal.
Right.
Because I thought he might retire, actually, to be honest with you, this year. But I'm surprised the Raiders said, nah, fam, we good. 24 hours later, goodbye. That was, I think the Raiders brass right now is taking shit seriously now. No one's bullshit.
Your boy Tom Brady's going to hire his guy Belichick out of North Carolina when they fire him.
Could you imagine that shit? Oh, no, my God.
Rather not.
No. But yeah, the Raiders to me were massive disappointment for me this year because I thought they'd be a 7-win team, frisky. Bro, they were fucking horrible this year.
Yes, this is why you're silly. Some of us saw that they were going to be horrible from jump.
Yeah. It's a me problem, obviously. So, yeah. F. All right. This one is fascinating. I want to
around and found out.
Yeah, I want to take some time on this one because I've been doing some deep dives on this team. The Miami Dolphins, 7-10.
F.
Okay.
I'm going to say the actual controversial thing. I don't blame Mike McDaniel for it.
Yeah, you did say that on the last time we went to pod that McDaniel isn't the issue.
Yeah. He's not the issue. Hasn't been the issue, in my opinion.
I don't think he's the main issue. I sort of think he has.
If you want to say he's an issue, I'm fair with that.
Right. True. Exactly. I went D+. Now,
of course you did.
I'm fascinated by Miami. Well, look, they started the year 1-5, 1-6, came back, wildcard race, no Tyreek Hill.
Stop it.
Yeah, I mean, look, they
were never really a factor.
I agree, but they were still hanging around in the last week 16.
Was that them or was that their sorry ass division in a world where the Bills were awful and the Pats had an easy schedule? Again,
Wait,
stop
it. How are the Bills awful 25?
They're awful compared to what we've seen and what we thought they'd be.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
To your point, awful's too strong. I agree.
Right. I'm fascinated with the Dolphins this year because
in the offseason,
two was awful this year. 2 was awful.
He had a bad year.
Yeah, you watch his games like he was throwing picks in zone defense. He can't read the defense anymore. Apparently, Dolphins have a lot of issues. A lot of fucking issues. So people saying, "Well, cut Tua, fuck him." Yeah, cool. You know how much it's going to cost to cut Tua right now before June 1st?
Yeah,
$99 million, buddy.
Use that pinky finger when you say that shit.
How do you do it?
$99 million.
So even if you keep him, he's still going to account for $64 million on the cap. On the roster. Off the roster, $99 million.
Yeesh.
The Dolphins, from what I've been researching here, are going into the offseason. Before you even address Tua's situation, it's $40 million plus over the cap. Before you even address Tua. Okay? You got to worry about Tyreek Hill situation. You got to worry about Bradley Chubb. All these other guys. Okay?
Waddle.
And then Tua. Waddle too as well. The Dolphins situation is fucking bad. Bad. That's why I said. That's why I said on Sunday when they played the Patriots that, and some people yes, you agree with me on this one. I said that this Quint Ewers evaluation is the most important evaluation this team's ever had in 10 years, because because if there's any case if the Dolphins want to even think about cutting Tua, Ewers is the guy. And he's not being paid anything at this point.
Nothing on the field drives that conversation.
Well, I'm not saying he's good enough. I'm just saying that
in the books. So I mean, your premise is
Well
your
stated.
premise isn't ridiculous, but it's far-fetched to think that football drives that conversation. When people say it's not about it's about the fucking money. EJ.
Tua's back next year. Let's be clear about that. He's back next year.
He is, right. But for them to swallow the pill in question, like the Broncos did with Russell Carrington Wilson and that fiasco under Nathaniel Hackett that Rusty's getting blamed for.
Right.
Yeah, yes, but it's really hard for me to take Quentin Ewers that seriously. Like, it's harder for me to take Quentin Ewers seriously than it is Drake May.
Because the only way they can even justify cutting Tua and taking that hit is if they actually believe Quentin Ewers is the future.
They don't. They're going to draft another Texas quarterback in 2 years.
Well, they'd be bad enough at this point, based on the look. If I'm Miami, you got everything. Trade fucking Waddle, get what you can from him. Trade what you can, gut that roster, take the hit, and who knows what the new GM is going to be?
No,
the new
it's
GM,
not thinking; it's planning for Manning. Boom.
Right there, you go. So there you go. So the new GM, whoever's going to be, we got to figure out if they even likes McDaniel. I think Steve Ross likes McDaniel, but I think the new GM may want to have his own guy. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
But it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a very fast. To me, they are the most fascinating team of the offseason for me. The Dolphins.
You've been watching too much Dan Lebitard.
Maybe so. Maybe so. All right. Minnesota Vikings 9-8.
F.
Really?
I said what I said. You fools thought you had something with JJ McCarthy. This is a mistake that I called out so far back. I'm going full Lucifer Morningstar. I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. If it's funny about teams wearing purple this year because they're both pretty goddamn disappointing with the ones I think of off the top of my head in the Vikings and the Ravens. Yeah. And the NFC North was starting to become a bit of a power vacuum. Understand Vikings, Lions, and Packers, oh my. The Bears, yeah, I know I fucked up the rotation on that. But the Bears, you let the Bears turn around like that. What the fuck just happened? Right? Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed this too also. All 4 teams in the division all got winning records. All 4 teams in the division got winning records.
Crazy, isn't it?
Isn't it crazy?
And that's the main reason why I'm going with a C rather than a D+.
You said F originally.
I did. I changed my mind.
Okay, I went C because of the McCarthy situation. But they fought. And
the J.J. McCarthy pick is a fucking F. That's what I'm getting at.
So if you're Minnesota, are you drafting a quarterback, or are you going to go to well again a second time? Or do you get involved in there's really no, I mean, unless when they go after Mac Jones or something else like that. What do you do?
Like, no, I'm kidding. No, I mean, honestly, there's always somebody that seems to shake out that you could kind of pick up. I don't think drafting a quarterback is ever a bad idea per se.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would draft 2 in the same draft. The only time drafting a quarterback is a bad idea is when you just paid Kirk Cousins, who has the most successful agent in NFL history, and then you waste a top pick, not beefing your stuff up, but hey, leave it to the fraud cons. The Vikings confuse me a lot, as you can tell. But
anybody else?
I
never, 9-8 is kind of the fact of 9-8 thing is incredible.
I got to remember, they lost their offensive coordinator, and all of that too. But this went from being an offense that made Sam Darnold look good. It's just severely disappointing. I'll say C+, but
I think you're right.
I'll tell you what, I'm grading them a little higher than I feel like I should. I want to give them an opportunity to come back next year after summer school. Maybe they've refocused and they can get better grades.
Right. I'm with you. All right. The New Orleans Saints, 6-11.
F.
Really?
Yes. This stuff at the end where they're beating teams that suck, I'm not impressed. this show
You and I
side.
So you and I are not only opposite on this one, we're polar opposites on this one. I went B plus. I went B plus, buddy. Let me tell you why.
Raging idiot.
Let me tell you why, fucker. Okay. I had this team going 0-16 this year. Okay. I had them going 0-17 this year.
Okay. Actually. I'll tell you what. B plus is still a little steep, but I see where you're going with them exceeding your expectations.
So not only did they peel off wins at the end of the year, a large part of the year too, also before the winning streak, they were very competitive. There were some games that they could have won easily. And think about it. Some of those, if you reverse 2 games right now, 2 games they could have won this year, early in the year, they might have won the division. Because the winner of the division this year in the South was 8-9. So again,
you're telling me I should give a team credit for almost being the team with a losing record that won.
Again, when your bar for me was 0-17, okay. I said on this podcast before the year started.
So here's what you're doing.
Might go 0-17.
You're excited about the fact that the other friends they brought to the club are just as ugly as they are.
Apparently.
Okay, carry on.
And look, this is not a very deep quarterback draft, so they might have found their guy for the next couple of years at least. I don't know if he's that good, but he's gonna be the guy next year, I'm sure.
What else is in the cupboard?
Shaw, whatever his name is. Do you know how to pronounce it?
No, I forgot. That's why I'm making jokes.
All right, well, fuck him. Well, he's not getting. Well, first of all, he's nowhere close to million status anyway. So, anyway, oh boy,
nobody heard what you just said, Gilmore Girls. It's okay.
I'm saying he's nowhere close to middle name status anyway. So who gives a shit?
Yeah. Oh anyway, God,
Tyler, something.
This is how you know I
show.
hear you, because now when you're mentioning middle name status, and I finally understood that. Oh God, move on.
Oh God,
Christ,
Tyler. Oh God, show. Okay.
Shut up, Julius.
Here we go, Kyle. Here we go. New York Giants, 4-13.
I didn't expect a lot from them, but this is going to sound dumb. Because they had so many issues at home, them raising spirits the way they did, I can't give them a full D. You're going to do that even though you're a Cowboys fan, I'm sure. But I'm going to say C minus for me, just because of the hype from Scadaboo and Dart. Gave this team something to dream about, right? They're performing. Their record is about what I thought it would be, but the injuries. If Scadaboo played more, they'd have won some of those games. I feel like.
I agree with you on that. And it has some quality wins too early in the year. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Eagles.
Yeah. Well, they've got the Chargers at the right time.
Right.
Where even Khalil Mack was fucking hurt. That was all time. They had just unveiled Cam Scadaboo, and nobody knew what the fuck was going on there. Somebody rolled a bowling ball out in the field and it started going, woo! Whatever.
And they blew 6 games this year with double-digit leads in the fourth quarter. So, again, they're competitive as hell.
Well, I think that's more about you're not coach of the year being in place there.
Yeah. I went D, though, because ultimately those blown leads, and then they fell apart late in the year. But it's not an F, though.
Earlier because I predicted you would go for the D again?
No, but I didn't go F, though. People thought I might have gone F. No,
yeah, you went for the D.
They here's the deal. They got a quarterback. They have a quarterback. We'll see if it continues.
But there were signs.
There's something there to work with. So
and they got the running back support. We know that if he can stay healthy.
You'll get Neighbors back next year too also. So we'll see that. Because Neighbors was balling before the injury. Balling.
Fair.
So we'll see him and Dart together. We'll see. All right. The other team in New York.
Wait. Did you just go full Mr. Rogers in Giants analysis there? Hey there, neighbor. You want to catch the ball?
Ooh, keep that, buddy. I like that. That's great. I like that. All right. The New York Jets, the other New York team, 3-14.
F.
Easy F for me, too, also.
Next.
By the way,
poor Aaron Glenn.
By the way, the only team that did not have 1 interception this year? Really? And your coach is a fucking former cornerback?
Who was supposed to be the next hottest thing in defensive coordination, right?
Is he on the hot seat? 1 year?
Maybe.
I feel like he probably should a little bit. I like the guy.
It's not the guy's fault, but yeah, he will be. It's what it is.
No,
Welcome
what I'm saying to you is that it would not surprise me if sometime this week it's fired.
No, I don't think that happens.
I hope it doesn't happen, but
I'm going to say something silly. I don't think the Jets are smart enough to do it if they wanted to.
Yeah, I don't want to get fired either, but at the same time, it's like, I have a bad taste.
I think he got some good juju from the front office standing up to Rodgers. I really did.
Yeah, maybe so. Good point there, by the way. All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 8-9.
Injuries are such a factor here. This is why
it's tough. That's why it's tough. Yep.
I'm going to say C. They lost their offensive coordinator, obviously. Injury issues in the receiving core was fucking insane. They had that Ohio State rookie kid ball out pretty nice, nonetheless. But
Mbuka?
Yeah. No, Mbuka's been great. I agree. Yeah. There's a case to be made, or at least there was at one point, for him to be offensive rookie of the year. I know they're going to lazily give it to the quarterback that's hiding behind fraudulent numbers, finishing out against weak opponents towards the end of the year in New Orleans there. But I said what I said, EJ Christian.
You said what you said.
Yeah, I got a C for the Bucs. It's just such a meh year. And if you go lower because they didn't take the power vacuum that is the NFC South, I don't blame you.
So I'm going to give them the Ravens treatment and give them a D.
Okay.
Because they're not getting an F because the injuries were the thing. However, they had a massive lead in the division, number one, okay, which they blew. Okay. Exactly. They got guys back in time to make up for that blowing the lead because Carolina was not going to put it away. And they had multiple chances to put the division away and didn't do that.
You know what? You convinced me. D+. Yeah, I follow. I follow that.
So even though the injuries were a thing, guys did get back in time to make up for that, and they didn't close the deal.
It's absolutely fair.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give them a D. So all right, two more teams get out here. Tennessee Titans 3-14. That's easy. F.
Can I mark them incomplete?
Oh, you can almost do that. You know why? This is the one team I feel like. Okay, I saw you. I don't know where you're going. Like at least in New Orleans, I know you're going somewhere.
Well, you think just like you thought the Raiders are fucking going somewhere too, right? No. I think Cam Ward has a chance. I think if the Titans beat the AFC South is in a position where the entire division could still improve somehow. It's fucking insane.
Of course.
Can I say D-? Like
you can do what you want. I'm an F.
I'm really inclined to say incomplete because I feel like they're still carrying over from last year's F season. I think the coaching hire was terrible. They've obviously corrected that. I think, with the Pats doing what they're doing, shit, of course, firing Vrabel was obviously a mistake, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How bad does that look now? Oh my God, how bad does it look?
I tried to tell them, but they wouldn't listen. I was talking to my guy, Teron Davenport, about it at Everbank Stadium before, the Vrabel's last season there, but I digress.
Yeah, like I said, they're the one team of the bunch here that I don't know where they're going. Like it's like, okay, you're bad. You can get worse. It's funny. You can get worse.
They could just as easily get better though, with a correct draft. Which
you think logically that nowhere but up, but we'll see. But F for me. All right, finally, the Washington Commanders 5-12.
I'll say last thing on the Titans. If they get, like, let's say a John Harbaugh in the room, not saying he'll take that gig, but I mean, can you rule that out? I can't.
I highly doubt it. I think he's long for a more higher, like Giants / Falcons, something.
What makes the Giants so fucking special?
Other than they're the Giants, that's why.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about the Giants? I mean,
if John Harbaugh wins a title with the Giants, you know how big a deal it is?
He's not winning a title with the Giants because no.
I'm saying if he did, I'm saying.
Sure.
If he did.
Like if LeBron won in Cleveland, which wasn't supposed to be possible either, but
he did.
Anyways.
He did though. So
I like the Harbaughs. I don't think that John Harbaugh is the LeBron James of fucking NFL coaching. How about that? Okay, shall we move on?
True. All right, Washington Commanders 5-12.
The Red Tails.
Sorry, Commanders.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to give them an incomplete for as much time as Jaden Daniels and Scary Terry missed.
I definitely feel that.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to go with that. They were playing with house money last year. They were going to regress to the mean. But in a year, in a division where you got to play the Eagles twice, and you always have whack ass physics in the division, and and they beat the Eagles too, didn't they? So that's a whole thing too.
Week 18.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mark them incomplete. I don't know what the hell to do with this group. I hate making that a thing, but both the Titans and the Red Tails, Commanders, I don't feel like they have a horrible loss on the year outside of the Dolphins.
Like that was down here, wasn't it? Was it? No.
Was it? No, they hosted them.
Okay.
I mean, they beat the Giants, so they kept themselves from being completely awful, right? No, I'm joking.
Beat them twice, actually. I went C minus, actually. The dude missed 10 games this year.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's more than half the season.
And I forget how many games they were without Scary Terry, but that was a thing.
He was never healthy this year.
This time again. Hey, let me tell me you've heard this one. Devio Samuel got hurt. I'm so surprised.
Yeah, and Scary Terry was never healthy. Like he entered camp hurt. Came in the year hurt and never recovered.
Yeah.
So I mean, they showed some fight, but I mean, once you saw Daniels getting hurt every other week, I was like, okay, this season's going off the rails. So not surprised. Yeah. So I want to see minus though, to be fair, because they were competitive though for most part of the year. So anyway, that was your non-playoff teams final letter grades. All right, Kyle, predictions for Super Wildcard Weekend first game. Rams at Panthers. Who wins?
Your mom. No, of course it's the Rams, dude. Come on, what are we doing here? Bryce Young's adorable. He'll get eaten alive by Jared Verse in that defensive front next.
All right, Saturday night. Packers or Bears. Who wins?
The certificate of ownership has been removed from the Bears by the Packers and one Aaron Charles Rodgers. Mm-hmm. And so forward 2 moves does Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams handle business there.
All right, let's go to Sunday games. Sunday games. I hope you're there. Bills at Jags. Who wins? Are you going?
Travis D. Holmes will be representing the Duval Dive at that particular contest. But I'm looking to see if Josh Allen on Josh Allen crime. Yeah, I know it's Josh Hines Allen. Fine. Happens again. We didn't see it last year on Monday Night Football because Ryan Nielsen was absolutely ridiculous as a defensive coordinator and was rotating guys out like a hockey rotation. You're a hockey fan. You know what that means.
Exactly. I'm a big hockey fan. Big hockey fan.
Huge hockey fan. And get this, playing a defensive tackle at the defensive tackle spot like they're doing with Eric Armstead this year instead of 61% of the snaps at defensive end. Who knew? I did, right? Bitches. No, but all that to say, this isn't the same Jags team that we saw that year, and it damn sure isn't the same Bills team. I won't give my official score prediction here because I look to do that on Wednesday night on the Duval Dive. Or actually, will it be Friday? I'm not sure. Oh. It depends. Yeah, we do that for the preview show, so that might be for the for the Friday morning show. Anyways, that all being said, I think the Jags win today. We'll see what happens. I think it might be the closest game in the playoffs this week. I'll give it that.
I was pretty confident Jags win that game, actually. I'm very confident about that game.
It's hard for me to bet that hard against Josh Allen, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but I have a problem with Josh Allen. I had a problem with the Bills. So there's that. All right, the 4 o'clock game. Your Niners at Eagles. Who wins?
I just think the Niners are too beat up, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a commonality that teams that are going to be successful in the playoffs this year are going to have great defensive tackles. And guess what the Eagles have? Boom. MVP of the team, not Christian McCaffrey. Trent Williams has missed way too much time, so he's not even going to be a factor. He's not in this game. George Kittle is back. That's key.
He's out. Trent definitely out.
I think Trent is out. Yeah. If I'm wrong,
They're fucked then.
good for the Niners, but nonetheless, I still think the Eagles win this football game. I think it's the best draw they could have gotten. That's not Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that. If the Niners were able to beat the Seahawks on Saturday, which I picked against them anyway, but if the Niners won that game, I don't think the Eagles beat Seattle. So yeah, but yeah, give me the all the injuries for the Niners. It seems like Jalen will make sure that it hurts them.
Yeah. All right. The night game on Sunday, rather. Chargers at Pats. Who wins?
Okay. This is the easiest draw you could have gotten on the AFC side. Congratulations, Patriots. You found a way to still find the easiest fucking thing on the schedule possible to play against. If the Pats lose this game, any credibility any Patriots fans had, you especially, is out the fucking window. I think people are slowly getting over the stupidity that is Drake May as MVP, because he's clearly not.
Is it Stafford?
It's, to me, it's Justin Herbert, but the fact that he sat that game out with a busted hand is probably going to take it away from him. I believe it will be John Matthew Stafford, and I don't have a problem with it. The actual correct answer is Christian McCaffrey, but no one's going to have that conversation. Dude played with two different quarterbacks, carried a team that was riddled with injuries. Bro, there was a fucking queue forming when they were at home against the Jaguars where Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, one was in the tent and one was outside of it. Both of them fucking hurt in the same game. It was absolutely stupid. Call me Homer all you want. That shit's nuts. Okay? But all the above being said, I have the Pats winning this football game only because to win in the postseason, you have to be right in the trenches, and the Chargers clearly are not. If Justin Herbert wins this game, the only thing more superior would be to win a Super Bowl, because this guy's been hit so much, and guys that get hit this hard aren't supposed to win playoff games.
And finally, the Monday night game, you got Texans and Steelers.
First of all, Monday night playoff games are fucking stupid. Can we get that out of the way?
Thank you.
Absolutely hate this shit.
I hate it too.
Being said, who gives a shit? Whoever wins this game. No, I'm joking. I have the Texans. There's no world I see the Steelers getting through this one. I just don't. Aaron Charles Rodgers will be made uncomfortable really quick by a very stout Texans defense. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what CJ Stroud does. And yeah, your best defensive player is having lung surgery or something. Holy shit. So yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right. Before we get out of here, two more things. One more thing, really good. College football semifinals. You got Canes and Ole Miss. You like it? You
think I'm sticking with the ACC? Get the fuck off me. Like these people. Oh, the SECs are frost. That sounds so fucking stupid. All right. Oh, they lost all these bowl games, bro. You're 5 deep. You're the 5th best team. You're playing the conference's 5th best team, and you think you're hot shit because you beat them in a bowl game. That's adorable. A, B.
And in a bowl game, when players rest.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'll give both Indiana and Miami this much credit. Particularly Miami. They did not belong in. Period. Indy did their part. I fucking said what I said. Miami did not belong in.
Wow.
You and Bill are cramming entirely up their ass. Okay. Wow. Teams that should be in ahead of Miami: Notre Dame, BYU, Texas, just to name a few.
I don't know how you put Notre Dame in there when they beat Notre Dame. I don't understand that. I just don't understand that logic.
Because they were ass the rest of the year and lost to unranked teams. Their quality win is in fact.
We're admitting then head-to-head does not really give a shit.
No,
doesn't matter.
Not what was it, the first or the second week of the year? I don't remember.
Doesn't matter for second week. It happened. The game happened, right?
So here's the thing: if they were actually as close as you imply, which they aren't, head-to-head would matter. It doesn't here. You lost to two unranked teams. Last year, bang on Notre Dame the way I did, which still eventually is being okay with them making the playoff, by the way. I can't bang on Notre Dame the way I did last year for losing to Northern fucking Illinois, and then watched I almost said the Dolphins, and then watched the Canes lose to 2-1 ranked teams in the weakest of power conference in college football, and be okay with them participating in the playoffs. It is absolute horseshit. Meanwhile, an undefeated Texas A&M team barely escapes South Bend. Or no, I don't remember if they played. No, they didn't play at home. They hosted
them, yeah.
Yeah, so shit. Notre Dame's is that Lubbock? Yeah, that's Lubbock. Lubbock is ass to play in. It's even a hard stadium to get to, for Christ's sake. They lose by a point. And now that's going to keep them out of a team, by the way, that didn't suffer their first loss until Texas. I think it was the last regular season game against Jesus Christ. It's so ridiculous to me. Meanwhile, the team that beat them, the until that point undefeated team Texas, is sitting at home having accomplished more than even Alabama, which Alabama didn't belong in either, but that's a separate conversation.
Either let both teams in or let both get out. I mean, I agree. Notre Dame should be in also too, but not at the expense of Miami. That was my pushback.
Absolutely, it should have been at the expense of Miami. Played a better fucking conference.
Hey, listen, they beat them. Bum line. That's it. So Ole Miss wins.
That's just a horrible take.
So Ole Miss wins, right?
From an FSU fan who had to suffer the same bullshit.
I feel dirty saying it, buddy. Don't trust me. I got to take my pants when I get home.
It doesn't matter what you're changing when you get home. See how I address you as an actual Hurricanes fan.
True. Go Heat, bitch.
Hey, finally.
You know you lost tonight. So Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Ole Miss.
And Indiana and Oregon.
Fuck.
Talk
what?
Are you fine buying in Indiana? Are you fine buying in?
Oh, man, listen. It's what I'm going to do with Indiana. What I did with Notre Dame when they made it to the national championship. Indiana is the bar team. Whether you think they belong there or not, okay. If they don't belong there, then prove it and beat them. Mm-hmm. Ohio State didn't fucking do it. So how on earth can I disrespect a team that's setting the bar for allegedly good teams? People keep trying to convince me that Oregon's good. I know they're not. Even though I'm the one that came up with quack, motherfucker.
That was your thing, right? Yeah.
It's not my thing. I'm the one that came up with it, though. Mikey Byrne, to his credit, ran with that shit. Flew with that shit, if you will. Okay, Oregon. You're hot shit. Beat Indiana. If you can't, go to hell. Migrate your ass somewhere else. Moving on.
So basically, you think there'll be Indiana and Ole Miss.
I think Indiana wins. I do. Yes.
Indiana, Ole Miss, natty.
That's so weird. By the way, y'all made fun of me when I talked about Ole Miss making a national championship run. I was just a year early. Anyway.
And by the way, Lane Kiffin's getting richer. So far, he's made $750,000 when but not coaching.
Dumbest shit, isn't it? Yeah.
God, that piece of shit. Anyway, plug away, Kyle. Good job as always.
Honor, joy, and privilege, EJ Christian. Glad we're going to be doing this again more often.
Yes.
My day job is that difficult. What can I say?
It's okay. We'll work around it. Let's say we'll work around it.
But yeah, make sure you check out my work covering the Jacksonville Jaguars on the Duval Dive. My work covering UCF at the Black and Gold Banneret and the Night Shift podcast. Also, my work covering the Orlando Magic. Of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky, as well as Twitter. I don't call it X. I have kids. I'm not on X. It's like that. At the SOTG. Also on Facebook as a student of the game. And EJ Christian, you handsome bastard. Until next time, class dismissed.
Good job.